I was kind of curious. I've never been super into makeup, hair, fashion, plastic surgery, all of that stuff. It's just never really been my thing. And it's been interesting because I would have women come on the show. What I would notice is how many women that said they were struggling financially while also having on, like, they would say the cost of living in London is too high. And I would think, well, fair enough, right? I mean, inflation, everything's going crazy. But what I noticed was that they would have fake nails, fake hair. I could see that their forehead didn't move. And so they had Botox. And so I decided that I was going to look into the costs of some of these procedures and things that they had done. So how much do modern women cost? Last week, I broke down that men make $10,000 a year more than us, yet we still spend the same amount of money. Where does this money go? I see a couple issues with excess spending. Companies have a tendency to sell us community rather than results. We do not want to think and figure things out ourselves, so we pay people to do it for us, i.e. health coaches, life coaches, etc. And then they sell us things to make us think that we can be young forever, fix our weight problems and emotional issues. I decided to ask Google why women spend so much money. There are reasons, and this is what Google said. There are reasons why women spend money, but not all women spend more money than men. That's true. There are many factors that can affect how a person spends. Emotional coping. Shopping can be used as a way to make women feel better, and the dopamine released when making a purchase can lift your mood. Perceptions on finances. Women may view spending as an expression of love, while men may view money as a form of power. Wow. Google is amazing. Did it just find a way to rationalize women's spending? That's so crazy. Shopping as a recreational activity. Women are more likely to view shopping as a recreational activity and therefore more quickly to spot a deal. Lifestyle. Women have seen money as the way to enhance their day-to-day life and create a lifestyle. Healthcare costs. Women pay more than men for healthcare services throughout their lives due to their gynecological care and other factors. So this I think is women's neuroticism. We want to go to the doctor about everything. We have a tendency to get very anxious. And so if we feel something's off, we just go to the doctor 24/7, right? Groceries. Women spend a higher percentage on their food expenditures on eggs, fresh fruits and vegetables, dairy, fish, and seafood. Eating habits. This one, I want to double check if it's true. But women prefer to eat at home while men prefer to eat at restaurants. Okay, women make up more than half of the US population and control or influence 85% of spending. The purchasing power of women ranges from 5 trillion to 15 trillion annually. Women control more than 60% of all personal wealth in the United States. Women purchase over 50% of traditional male products, including automobiles, home improvement, and consumer electronics. And approximately 40% of working women now out-earn their husbands. But let's not listen to Google. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth.
Dollars in credit card debt. 40. So let's talk about it. First of all, that is a statement that I thought I would be taking to my grave. I never thought I would tell another soul. And in fact, until today, I have never told another soul about my struggles with credit card debt because this is not the beginning. If we rewind all the way back to about 19 or 20-year-old Lana, that is when my journey with credit card debt began. I was 19 years old and I was dating a man who was 31 and he did not support me or help me financially in any way. And I was trying to live his lifestyle off my minimum wage job. And I was living outside my means, to be quite frank. I got myself into credit card debt. I stayed in credit card debt until I was about 21, at which point I was able to pay it off over the course of just like really cutting back and being very diligent about making as many extra payments as I could to my debt. And then I got out of it and I was like, oh my gosh, that's the most freeing thing. I'm never doing that again. And then I did.
And
then I paid that debt off.
Now remember, she's saying she has $40,000 in credit card debt. Now let's look at her. Let's look at her face. That looks like lip filler to me. That looks like Botox to me. I don't know. I'm just ballparking it. The hair, this might be real. The hair might be real. You know what?
I repeated the cycle again. I'm in my third cycle of credit card debt. And at this point, my threshold has just gotten so big. Your threshold for debt increases with time, right? It's just like your threshold for anything else that creates stress in your life. Over time, your body has to adapt to the current conditions. So your threshold for what it can hold expands. So right now, the number 40 probably feels staggering to some of you, but it's not a number that I feel fear around. So why am I sharing this with all of you? Well, because this debt that I've carried on and off for almost all of my 20s has cultivated so much shame for me. So much shame. I directly had my self-worth tied up into my financial picture. And so I thought that because of the fact that I had this debt, I was not worthy. I was not worthy. And as I've been doing a deep...
What I don't understand, when men feel shame about something, they have a tendency to try to fix it. But when we feel shame about something, because that's naturally something you should be ashamed of. $40,000 of credit card debt is something that's pretty shameful. But we have a tendency to want to normalize it and make the feeling go away instead of the problem go away. Why? Why? I don't understand. Why?
Deep dive into my subconscious mind, just really into my psyche in general over the last couple of years. I have looked at everything very, very, very honestly, but money's been the one thing that I've been avoiding. The one thing that I've been avoiding. And over the last month, I have gotten to a place where I cannot avoid it anymore because I am in a very unique situation when it comes to my finances. And I've been doing all of this subconscious work. And as I sat in meditation yesterday, this just came up out of nowhere that I need to talk about it. I need to talk about it. So I first started by having conversations with my closest girlfriends because they didn't even know. And after I had spoken to them, I felt the shame just dissipating and leaving my body. And I thought, I'm going to share it with the world. I think I've always known that I was eventually going to share it with the world. I just wasn't feeling ready.
What?
And so I'm sharing this with you because I know that so many of us struggle with debt. I know so many of us are in debt right now, and I need you to remember that money is not moral. You are not worthy or unworthy depending on your financial situation. The more that we talk about things, the less that shame can breed, the less that shame.
Okay, do you know what I think would be the best way to eliminate shame? Paying off the debt. Paying off the debt. What? I don't understand what we're doing here. What's the... But it's interesting because we have a tendency to speak about a problem that makes us feel better. And I think this shows why therapy makes women feel better, where it doesn't help men as much because they need a plan of action. I mean, she's saying meditation is going to solve her financial problems. That's insane. I mean, you should be ashamed. Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one. Let me pull it up. Oh yeah, this is the same woman. And look she's saying, I'm going to pause this because I don't want the sound. I don't know if the sound will go. I'm $42,000 in debt, and instead of getting extra jobs, eating beans and rice for the next 5 years and cutting everything out to pay it back, I'm choosing to surrender to God's grace. I sit in meditation 3 times a day to connect with the divine that allows me to call in more abundance than exerting energy ever will, less doing, more being. Okay, so let's say she meditates for an hour a day. Do you know what she could be doing instead? Uber Eats, working at Dairy Queen. I mean, Trump just worked at McDonald's. Why do we think we're above it? McDonald's is hiring. And this is the future because for whatever reason, we're just not great with money. Okay, let's keep going. Another one. And these women all look different. It's not one race, one socioeconomic background. You can tell they're from all different types of backgrounds.
I'm 27 years old, I live at home with my parents, and I am thousands of dollars in debt. It's about time I do something about it. I have pretty much been in debt since about 19 years old, which is when I got my first credit card, and unfortunately I had just very little regard to how this would bite me in the butt, basically 10 years later. It's now been 3 years since I graduated college, I'm living at home, and at the rate that I'm going, I will literally never be able to move out, let alone buy a house if I do not get my finances in order. I know the road to becoming debt-free is not going to be something that's like super easy or going to happen overnight. I'm talking about years of just poor habits that are stacked and stacked and stacked on top of each other. But I am hoping that by building this channel, it's going to help me build the confidence and the discipline to just get over this bad habit. I have some ideas in mind on how to get started about tackling my debt, but I would love any advice or any feedback that you have that helped you better manage your finances. I would love if you can comment below and give me any tips or resources that you may have that could help me out.
So my speculation is that they're really just looking for somebody to bail them out of this problem.